Welcome everyone to the Lawyers Committee and the Truth Action Project program. Today's program is called Recognizing and Pushing Back the Post-9/11 Police State. Our next speaker is the New York Fire Commissioner, Chris Gioia. Chris is a 30-year member of the Franklin Square Munson Fire Department, has served as chief from 2007 to 2012. He's also a veteran of the Marine Corps, as well as an EMT for 25 years. Chris is going to speak about fire department activism and reflection on 9/11 truth. Chris is a good friend of the Lawyers Committee. Christopher, you've got center stage.
Commissioner Gioia, you're on mute, so go ahead and unmute yourself. Just press unmute.
Hey, how about that?
There you go.
How you doing?
Thank you, David, and
Welcome.
thank you for inviting me to the conference today. Let me get my notes ready, please. There we go. Okay, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Christopher Gioia, and I'm a fire commissioner with the Franklin Square Munson Fire District in Nassau County, New York. On July 24th, 2019, the Board of Fire Commissioners of the Franklin Square Munson Fire District unanimously passed a resolution of support for a petition filed by the Lawyers Committee for 9/11 inquiry, calling for a special federal grand jury investigation into the events of 9/11. On November 22nd, 2019, the Association of Fire Districts of Nassau County, New York, approved my motion of support for that petition filed by the Lawyers Committee. And this organization represents 72 fire districts in Nassau County, New York. So how does the DOJ respond to this petition? Any reasonable person would think that they would be falling all over themselves to look at evidence that wasn't looked at before into the worst act of terrorism against our country. Instead, the U.S. Attorney's Office is treating this like kryptonite and seeks to have it dismissed on a legal technicality that the plaintiffs lack standing. Imagine that. The U.S. Attorney's Office is saying that family members of 9/11 victims and first responders who are dying from the effects of breathing in the toxins during the recovery effort have no right to present evidence to a grand jury, contradicting the official narrative in a federal court. What's up with that? How can the government justify spending over $60 million investigating the sex scandal between President Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky, while just $3 million was initially allocated to investigate 9/11? What's up with that? Believing the official story of the events on 9/11 requires one to accept a long series of anomalies, extremely improbable events, and amazing coincidences. Winston Churchill once said, "A lie gets halfway around the world before the truth has a chance to get its pants on." And today, of course, it circulates everywhere instantly. Joseph Goebbels, Nazi Germany's Reich Minister of Propaganda, said, "If you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually come to believe it." He further said that truth is the mortal enemy of the lie, and thus, by extension, the truth is the greatest enemy of the state. Well, I say, people lie, but the facts don't. Seeing is believing. Corporate media manipulators such as ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, Fox News, and the BBC, to name a few, love a big story they can hype, distort, and falsify to attract large audiences supportively for the worst crimes imaginable. That is the agenda now. In fact, the bigger the event, the worse the reporting, sacrificing truth for managed news and opinions everyone should understand and avoid. This irresponsible reporting has gotten so blatant and ridiculous lately with the COVID-19 virus and the social unrest that Mainstream media might just try and characterize the attack on Pearl Harbor as a peaceful flyover. Such is the hypocrisy that exists today. In the 19 years since 9/11, mainstream media has been corrupted and debased. Distinguished scholars like David Ray Griffin exposed 9/11 lie in his exhaustive research and writings. In numerous books, articles, and lectures, he provided convincing evidence about an inside job, not an attack carried out by crazed Arabs. He said it would seem for many reasons that the official story of 9/11, which has served as a religious myth in the intervening years and still does, is a myth in the pejorative sense of a story that does not correspond to reality. It was Griffin's polite way of calling it a big lie, the biggest of our time. On September 11, 2008, his global research article headline, September 11, 2001, 21 reasons to question the official story about 9/11, including, although the official narrative in mainstream media holds Osama bin Laden accountable, the FBI admitted it has no hard evidence connecting him to the attack. Let me repeat that. The FBI admitted they have no hard evidence connecting Osama bin Laden to the 9/11 attacks. Are you listening, Fox News? Hani Hanjour, the so-called terrible pilot who was unable to fly even a single-engine propeller plane, could not possibly have flown American Airlines 77 and executed the amazing trajectory to hit Wedge 1 of the Pentagon that even experienced airline pilots wouldn't have been able to negotiate. Are you listening, ABC, CBS, and NBC News? Wedge 1 was the most implausible spot to be struck. It was the furthest from the offices of Rumsfeld and Pentagon top brass, and presumably the targeted high-value officials. It was also the only part of the Pentagon that had been recently reinforced to withstand just such an attack. Its reconstruction wasn't finished, so few people were there, and it presented the most difficult flight path to execute. Pentagon officials lied, saying they had no warning of an approaching aircraft. In fact, the military E-4B, the Air Force most advanced communications command and control airplane, was flying over the White House at the time. And astonishingly, the Pentagon denies it belonged to them. Moreover, the Pentagon is the most guarded structure in the world, complete with advanced radar and surface-to-air missiles, able to intercept and destroy any approaching threat. Are you listening, CNN News? The alleged hijackers had minimal competence to fly single-engine propeller planes, let alone be able to handle commercial jetliners. Moreover, their names are not on any original authenticated passenger manifests. In fact, several turned up alive and well and living in the Middle East. Washington never even produced their tickets as evidence because they were not aboard the planes and had nothing to do with the incidents. Are you listening, BBC News? George Bush later acknowledged that Saddam Hussein had nothing to do with 9/11, and the Senate Intelligence Committee also said he had no connection. In his book titled 9/11, 10 Years Later, David Ray Griffin said the following: getting the 9/11 lie exposed is essential, and one obvious reason is simple justice. There needs to be justice in the sense of punishment for those who engineered this crime, including top government and military officials, and they perhaps consider themselves patriots when they are in fact guilty of murder and treason. Revealing 9/11 truth is also vital for the sake of preventing further crimes against democracy. Many lines of evidence show that 9/11 was an inside job and is virtually indisputable. And as a result, it needs to be exposed so everyone knows to give never again real meaning. 9/11 was the transformative event of our time for ill, not good. And it sparked multiple wars, producing more of them, as well as repressive domestic crackdowns. It also launched a global war on terror, another on truth, human and civil rights, social justice, rule of law principles, and democratic values wherever America and its NATO partners show up. September 11th, 2020 marked the 19th anniversary of a day those old enough to remember won't ever forget. Nor should they forgive political Washington for using it to wage war on humanity. Exposing the official 9/11 lie is a vital first step to freeing America of a malignancy that is destroying it and free people everywhere in its grip. Thank you.
Chris, we salute you. Thank you for that inspiring talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David.